Raw review for this week's episode of Raw. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, so let's cheers and talk about some wrestling, huh?
Yeah, let's go ahead and cheers. We've been doing this for about 2.5 months, almost 3 months-ish. I thought that might have been the best Raw that we've gotten.
Dude, so good, so good. Let's get right into it. Show would start with a Rhea and Liv story recap. Good little video package. It kind of just showcased every beat, the whole thing. And that was followed by an elevator. But the elevator opens. And it's Miss Rhea Ripley. She is making her return. We get a camera shot from the elevator all the way through Gorilla, out to the ring. Cool stuff to start the show here. Very cool. She goes, Mommy's home, of course, and she says she's going to handle Dom, but as for right now, she wants her championship that she never lost because she didn't. So she said, Liv, walk out here now so I can rip you apart. And Dom comes out because Dom wants his mommy back. He's like, why are you mad at me? I didn't do nothing. He has a black rose for her. Very cool. Rhea's not a very colorful individual, so the black rose fits. Anyway, before he can even get a word out because the whole crowd is booing him per usual, Liv is on the screen. She's on the screen. She's not there. She's on the jumbo. And she basically is like, I told you that I was going to do this, and by now you know that I am going to take everything from you. And that's including Dom. And at the beginning, I just wanted Dom to make you mad, but over time, I found out that it's real to me. And you will find out that Liv is always on top. And Dom tries to talk again. Crowd will not let him do it. But she goes, you know what? I knew you weren't gonna come out here and get in the ring with me tonight. So let's do this at SummerSlam. It's basically what she said. And Liv is like, yeah, I basically knew that this was how it was gonna end, me versus you. So I grant you your wish there. And Rhea ends by saying, at SummerSlam, your revenge tour, your title reign, your career, I'm going to take all of it from you. Watch me. And that's how it ends, the beginning of the show. And this was all pops, dude. All pops.
Yeah.
Not even close.
What a way to start off the show, right? I mean, you get the callbacks with Dom and obviously Eddie and China. They've been, hinting at it for all the times. But it was nice. The little Rose, the Mamacita, which I don't know if he's called her Mamacita before.
Yeah, he kept calling her Mamacita.
I know he always says Mommy, but I don't remember Mamacita. So I was like, oh. Okay, here we go.
You can barely hear it through the booze.
Yeah. And the people just hate Dom. I don't know why. Dom's done nothing wrong. Liv played her part. I thought this was a really good promo from Liv.
Yeah.
I know it's not like, she's not in ring in front of people, like the backstage stuff, but I thought it was really, really strong from her. Got to give it a pop, and what a way to start off the show.
Yeah. Well, it kind of continued because we came back from commercial break, and Mommy was backstage with Dom, and they were walking through the halls. They were going to Judgment Day's little area, and, he's talking to her and begging her to not be mad. And she opens the door to the Judgment Day area, and it's got some candles in there, and it's got a bunch of black rose flowers. And she's like, what is this? And he's like, I just want to show you how much I appreciate you. She takes the flowers, and she throws it at him, slams the door on him. Then Damian comes and puts his hand on his shoulder and consoles him, but he says something in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, so but it was a fun little backstage segment.
Yeah, I mean, who hasn't? Admittedly, if you've been in a relationship before, you've been there before.
Oh yeah,
and you're gonna be there again. So just a nice little touch.
You screw up, you gotta throw anything that works at the wall. See what sticks, bro. See what sticks. It's a lot of black roses. I want to know how he got those.
A lot. It was at least 4 dozen.
At least, yeah,
which is a ton.
Yeah. That's a lot of money nowadays, man.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we would get a Sheamus and Bronson Reed match, which slapped like it should. Pat McAfee immediately pointed out that the front row of the crowd had a sign that said Monday Night Meat on it, and that's what this match was. It was a bunch of Monday Night Meat. That's all it was. Bronson Reed was being booked very strong at the start. Sheamus was kind of hitting him like he normally does, stiff shots, but Bronson wouldn't go. Bronson would shoulder tackle Sheamus off the apron and then throw him over the announce table, but Sheamus would get the better of it. Sheamus would then do the 10 beats, his 10 beats on the announce table, and then he would celebrate with Pat McAfee before the commercial break. Big sweaty Irish man is what he said. Later in the match, Sheamus would hit the white noise, and he'd get a 1-2 ooh, and then Bronson Reed would immediately get up and hit a power bomb, a sit-down power bomb, which he throws those so well, and he would get a 1-2 ooh on it. Reed would then miss a moonsault off the top rope. This 350-pound man goes up to the top rope to do moonsaults. I'm going to just point that out every time. But he misses it. Sheamus gets a brogue kickoff. 1, 2, 3. Sheamus does get the victory. Reed got up while Sheamus was on the top rope celebrating, and he was looking like he was going to attack. And right as he was running towards Sheamus, Pete Dunne drop kick out of nowhere. And we're like, oh, so maybe Pete Dunne does kind of want to work with Sheamus here. And Sheamus turns around. He's like, thank you, but like, what are you doing here? He leaves. Sheamus continues the celebration, but Pete Dunne's like, nope, you're going to get some too. And he runs in and gives him a good clothesline to the back of the head. And then Sheamus is hurt, so Bronson Reed gets on the top rope, hits a tsunami. So these three are now intertwined. This match was great. I don't think the Pete Dunne stuff was necessarily great afterward, but it's something. Pete Dunne's on our TV more. That's a good thing. So this whole thing, I'll just go ahead and give it a pop.
Yeah, I'll start off and I'll give it a pop as well. I guess I'll work backwards to the front, I guess. So the Pete Dunne stuff, I wish, as we were watching, I was like, I wish we could have got to see more.
Yeah.
I really thought that, like, okay, now you can maybe start to, like, destroy Sheamus or beat up on him a little bit more than just, like, one clothesline forearm, whatever it was. But you get to see Pete Dunne, and I guess it progresses that. It does enough.
Yeah.
As for the match itself, it's two big, meaty men slapping meat. You know, who doesn't like that? I mean, come on. Great match. Bronson Reed is in the category, for me at least now, of, like, yeah, he doesn't really have any character, and he doesn't really have any direction storyline-wise. I said a few weeks ago, he always helps progress other storylines. Yeah. But they just put him in matches, and he has bangers.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. I mean, completely agree. There's nothing more to add. I mean, it's like Bronson Reed is like a younger version of Sheamus's current character in terms of just being a guy that doesn't really need any accolades at the moment. You just, like, he's a for sure good match. Mm-hmm. Like, you need a 10-minute match that everybody's going to like. Throw Bronson Reed in there. Throw Sheamus in there. It's going to be a banger every time.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I would like eventually, not right now, but eventually for him to get a win or two. Yes. And then for him them to provide some sort of direction. Of course. But I mean, in the ring, I'm finding myself, like, originally when he came back to WWE, I was like, I know he's good, but like, yeah. But his matches every single time he's on Raw, I'm like, this is good. Yeah,
it's good stuff. Very good stuff. We'll move on, though. We got another Rhea and Damian backstage. A lot of Judgment Day tonight, but it was all necessary and it was all great. Rhea is basically thanking Damian, catching up with Damian is what she's doing. And she's saying that, thank you for keeping the boys together. I know that you're champion and you got a lot of stuff on your mind, so keeping them together was cool of you. But she goes, but what's the deal with Carlito being here? And you just hear Carlito in the back. He's like, oh, she's mad, huh? And Dom shows up before they can get into that conversation. And Dom's like, I screwed up. Hear me out. And Rhea started ripping up his roses as he was talking to her.
Nice touch.
And he goes, or she goes, I don't want to talk to you. How about you go talk to this 3 months that you've had of your little girlfriend? And she storms away. So she's just mad. She is upset with Dommy boy.
Yeah. I don't know how you could be.
I know.
I mean, if she's been watching the programming every week, she would realize it's not Dom.
Not Dom. Dom did nothing.
Not Dom.
Short backstage segment with Sami. Sami has challenged Ilia to an Intercontinental title match tonight. And Ilia's like, dude, I didn't help you last week to get a title match. And Sami's like, basically like, I know you didn't. I just respect you. So I'm giving you a match. Mm-hmm. So show up tonight. It's going to be great. Give it your all. Is basically, he gave him the old pep talk. We then get a Zelena interview. Mm-hmm. Zelena Vega. She's back there and they're like, hey, you've been involved with Liv and the belt lately. But Rhea's back. So like, what's up? And she's like, yeah, I'm just going to let Liv and Rhea do their thing and fight over that Dom guy. And then whenever they're done, I'll be first in line. And then Sonia Deville and all of them show up. Sonia, Baszler, and Stark. And they're like, no, there is no line. We are the line now. And Zelena said something about her big old forehead. I don't know. But
yeah, she says that she's got a big forehead. And yeah, she said something to Baszler, too. I don't remember what it was. But I don't mean to go on a tangent. I'm not going to. I'm keeping it short. I don't like that Zelena just takes jabs at people. And that's her character. And people are like, oh, yeah, man, she's great. Yeah, she's awesome. That's all she does. She just tries to get people to go, ooh.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
Yeah, every promo. Yeah, that's exactly what she does. But this leads directly into a Zelena Vega versus Sonya Deville match, which Sonya would immediately come out strong with, which I was happy when Sonya Deville had a match. I was like, oh, yes, because I'm a big Sonya guy. it's been, I don't know, like a year. It's been a long time.
Uh-huh.
She comes out right away with like bunch of stiff knees to Zelena. But then randomly the momentum just completely shifts on his head. Zelena gets a 619 real quick. But Zoe Stark distracts the ref on the other side of the ring so that Baszler can grab Zelena, and she does her little arm thing where she like breaks the arm. It's like a little arm stomp that she does on the apron, and then she just rolls Zelena into the ring, and Sonia hits the Devil's Advocate, her finisher.
Deville's Advocate.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry,
It's
Deville's
just,
Advocate.
I remmer the name because I'm like, that's clever.
I don't really like the move, but I like the name.
Yeah.
But she wins. And they all start to attack Zelena. And then Lyra Valkyria, Kaden Carter, and Katana Chance come out to help good old Zelena, which sets up a match later tonight. As much as I want Sonia's in this, and I like that, but I'm gonna have to give this a drop. This was the definition of a nothing burger. Nothing happened here, man. I don't know what to say. No, I don't like it.
You know the Sonya, I'm going to go talk about her finish real quick. So you say you don't like the finisher. The finisher, it reminds me, I think it's the same move. The final cut from the Big Show that he had that one time.
Oh my God.
That one random like WWE game years ago. That's what the move is. Anyway, as for the match itself, I'm going to give it a drop.
Yeah.
You say nothing happened. To me, in my eyes, like you could say like, oh, well, Zelena's been on TV. She's been, fighting. Sonya just came back. So this makes sense. I don't like it that they're trying to establish Sonya as like this top like badass, and then Zelena got offense like a flip, and then she hit a 619 on her.
Yeah, she hit the finisher on her.
And it wasn't if Baszler and Stark aren't there, like Vega's pinning.
Yeah, that was
Deville,
that was inferred.
And I get that, like, oh well, that's the whole point of it, the numbers game, blah 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 blah. No, that Sonya just should have went out and just should have beat the crud out of Vega.
It should have been the opposite. Vega should have gotten the upper hand early, and then Sonya should have just smashed.
Yep.
And because if they are the line now in the women's division, and Sonya's the leader of the line in the women's division, she's got to be booked strong.
Yeah.
This was a weird booking decision here.
Yeah, weird booking. I mean, at least the right person won, but yeah, weird booking, and then as you said, the random faction comes in, and it's just like, I get what they're trying to do with the line. Maybe that's what they call themselves, the line. 3 of them.
That'd actually be cool.
But so you have that, and I get what they're trying to do there. But in terms of like the Chance, Carter, and Lyra stuff, yeah, not into it. We'll get into that later though.
Well, we then have a very extended period of no wrestling here, but it was all good. Okay, It was all good. It was a soap opera episode of Raw. Okay, it was.
Which is always the good ones,
which I like. I
don't care. When they have good stories to soap opera, sign me up.
Yeah. So first, we get more backstage stuff with the Judgment Day. It was Damian with Dom. And Dom was like, dude, why didn't you warn me last week that Mami was here? And he was like, Damian was basically like, because you freaking lied to me about speaking to her, and you need some consequences in your life, bro. Then good old Jey Uso walks in. He's all yeeted up, per usual. And he's like, is the rumors true? Is Rhea single and ready to mingle? And Dom is getting offended that he's speaking about Mami in such a way. And he goes, Jay looks at him and goes, tell Mami I said hi. And he, like, as he says hi, backs away from the camera. It's so good. But Dom's pissed that he said that. And Damian's like, you've been in prison, Dom. You're hard. You don't let someone talk about your mommy that way. Go to Adam Pearce's office and you set up a match against Jey Uso. And he's like, I got it.
We always talk about them not having direction for Jay, or I hate the Jay character. Jay has no character, blah, blah, blah. I really like this.
Oh, yeah.
Just like the goofy, like, but at the same time, there's you talked about it when we were watching it, like, you think about the past with Rhea and him, they're always like waving at you.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, but then he's like able to add some charisma and some character and funny stuff. Like, I was like, okay, why can't we get more of this Jey Uso?
Yeah, and if Jay wants to just like be funny and piss people off week to week and get in matches with like these type of guys, these type of caliber guys, sign me up. Like, we'll get to the Dom Jay match eventually, but like, it was a good showing. This was good stuff. So, but we'll move on. Chad was in backstage with Adam Pearce, Chad Gable, and he says he's cracked the case. He's figured it out. Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas, and Pearce is like, yeah, everybody knows this. And he's like, nope. I figured it out. He's like, no, he said, but yeah, because I've told everybody. Anyway, Pierce
It's
is
so good.
Pierce is like, dude, I'm dealing with too much. If you want to deal with Bo Dallas tonight, call him out yourself. And Chad's like, you know what? I have to do it by myself all the time anyway. So yeah, it's a good idea. I'll do that tonight. But we get a very good segment and one that we will pop or drop on this next one. Damian Priest face to face with Gunther, and my God, this is a defining promo from both of these guys. Both of these guys, Damian and Gunther, have been criticized out the ass for one thing, and it is their promo skills. And you put two guys who are struggling on the mic together, and they made absolute fire on the mic tonight, man. Damian Priest comes out, immediately calls out Gunther, right? Doesn't even say anything except for all rise. He does his all rise, Dayton, which my boy Damian, love him. But Gunther then comes out and he introduces Damian for him. You are the champion. You've been carrying Raw. Good for you. But he goes, my assessment, you're not living up to the hype. Your reign has become nothing. No prestige. So I'll do you a favor. I'll lift this weight off your shoulders. We don't have to wait till SummerSlam. Just give me my belt today. Damian's like, no. you've been handed everything. I earned this for 20 years. I came from nothing. We don't need you here, Gunther, if you're just here for a paycheck. And he goes, you're good, but I don't care if you are gone and you're not taking the title. Gunther goes, let's be honest. Being on the streets is a choice. Your parents didn't think you had the worth to provide a good life for. Just drop bars.
Right in the heartstring.
He goes, WWE begged me to be here, so people like you can't be champion. And he goes, people should love you because they're just like you. A bunch of street trash. And Damian goes, you don't have heart in that SummerSlam. You're going to have nothing. And then they start to push and shove, and then Braun Strowman comes out because Damian Priest and Braun have a match. But this was so good, man. I mean, obviously I don't do it justice, so watch the full segment on there. But good Lord, they put on, man. They put on. Pop.
Yeah. I'm going to pop it as well. As we started to see, and, obviously if you are on social media at all, you see that Priest is slowly becoming a face, and he's being presented as a face, and you can hear even the pops tonight in the crowd. You heard people cheering for him. But I thought to myself, as he calls out Gunther, I'm like, Gunther's in a kind of a weird spot because like the older crowd, right? Like not the kids that watch WWE, they probably think like, oh, Gunther has no character. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to kind of maybe connect those dots. We're like, man, Gunther's great in the ring. He's phenomenal. He's awesome. But then I was like, how do you really make him be a heel? That's what I thought before he got into the ring. Yeah. I was like, people just think, man, he's awesome. He can wrestle. And he's kind of like a tweener because some people like him, some people don't, but whatever. And then he just starts tearing down Damian Priest. And I thought to myself, oh my God, this is the perfect way for Gunther to be booked as a heel. This is fantastic. This promo is the perfect way to establish a face as a face and a heel as a heel. Two guys walked into that ring as tweeners, maybe one leaning toward heel, one leaning toward face, but they left the ring face, heel, motive, both built up, ready for a feud. It is like the quintessential promo, like how to on promos, and should be shown to younger guys when they're starting to learn how to do it. Because like you just said, they walked in one character and they both walked out separate with motives and everything. It was just so well done. Well done. Yeah, and we joked that before they kept playing the same Gunther like promo package. Yeah. And it's like, oh, there's no prestige. People, I'm gonna bring like grace to this. Like people are gonna bow before me because I'm so much better. Like, yeah, okay, like I get it. Maybe that doesn't resonate with people. But then you call somebody, street trash that fights for everything, and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. And now, like you said, now it's established. Now moving forward, we know who people are going to root for, who people are going to dislike. And it made me really excited for this SummerSlam match. Oh, dude, I'm so excited for that match. That match should go on last, I think. I don't know. It won't. Rhea Liv, I don't know. It's going to be a great conversation for another day. Oh, great SummerSlam. Before the match, though, with Damian and Braun, we would get a Jey with Pierce. Jey Uso with Adam Pierce. And Adam Pierce gives Jey the grace or Adam Pierce like, Dom wants a match with you. And Jay's like, fine. And Braun Breaker shows up and he's mad about Sami and Ilia. He's like, what the hell? You're just going to give Ilia a title match? And Pierce is like,
yeah, he's earned one, dude. You lost to Sami, so get to the back of the line. And Braun's like, okay, well, fine. I'm just going to go out there and beat everybody up anyways. And Pierce's like, you know what? I thought you'd say that. So, like, here's security. Walk him out, guys. And they start walking out, which was good. The logic there is fine. It's like, okay, you're not going to give me a shot. I'm just going to go beat everybody up like I do every week, bro. So.
Yeah. And then I said to you later on in the night, we'll talk about it. It's like, man, these security guards look a little bit familiar. Like later on in the night, you know?
Yeah. We then would get the Damian Priest and Braun Strowman match with Gunther on the outside, but then he would go back. I don't really know, but
this came out backstage.
This ended up being a very good. Braun Strowman has been booked. We criticize how Braun Strowman has been booked always his whole career, but if one thing is fair, he is always a big threat. Just in terms of he beats people up. He may look stupid and run away from matches, and him on a tag team might lose because he's doing something else. But when Braun's in the ring, he normally is doing the beating up. So this is like a good way for Damian to be like, I'm the champ. I'll beat this guy. Yep. And early in the match, he was going at Strowman. Strowman kind of had nothing for him. Like he was sending kicks and kicks and kicks. Eventually, Strowman would get a little bit of offense in, throw him around, kind of get the whole I'm bigger than you slams. Damian would roll out to the outside of the ring, and Braun Strowman would go for his runaround shoulder tackle, but Damian threw him over the barricade, which like injured his knee. I don't really know if it was a kayfabe sell or what. But I'm gonna assume yes.
I'm gonna assume yes
because the finish. So
everything kind of came into place, so I would assume so. But.
At the end of the match, Braun, it was a quick match. Braun would get Damian up on his shoulders to do a power bomb, but his knee would give out, which would lead to Damian Priest hitting a South of Heaven. 1, 2, 3. Damian Priest wins it. Gunther would come out from the back, just wasting no time. And he would literally just walk straight to the ring, up the stairs, through the ropes, and chop Damian across the chest. And Damian was like, ow. But he didn't back down. And Damian would then kind of become the aggressor on Gunther and would end up getting the momentum at the end of this. Gunther rolled out of the ring and kind of just backed away. So Damian looks very strong here. He comes out of this promo and match a face with a new motive, personal motive against Gunther. Strong win against Braun Strowman. I mean, Damian Priest is just doing phenomenal as champion.
Yeah, really good night for him.
A pop.
As for this match, I'm going to pop it as well. I've been very critical of Strowman. It was nice to see Strowman just come in the ring, and we're just going to sound, I'm big man. I'm bigger than you.
Yeah.
I'm going to destroy you. And that's just kind of who he's always been, which we've criticized, but it works here because Damian is the champ.
Yeah.
And Damian's a big guy.
Yeah.
And then you see him next to Braun and you're like, golly, okay, what's he going to do? So it was nice to see that because Damian's typically always the bigger guy. Like you said, kind of a, I guess, quickish match until the knee.
Yeah.
But I feel like at least the match felt like it flew by. Then the knee thing happened, and I'm going to assume it's,
a work.
Yeah, a work. Thank you. I was like, what word am I going for here? I'm going to assume it's a work, especially with how it came into the finish of the match. But it's a very smart work because Strowman has had knee injuries, and he can barely move half the time.
And we believed it for a second. Mm-hmm. We were like, because the barricade spot looked like he didn't get all of it over, so it looked like, oh yeah, he could definitely hurt his knee.
Yeah, it looked like he almost stiff legged. Yeah, ran into it. And then as for the Gunther stuff, just nice to see that too.
Yeah,
just wasting no time. Let's get after it.
Yeah,
heel rolls out, face stands tall.
There was no slow work up to the apron. He literally just walked up, got in the ring, chopped him. Let's get to work. Mm-hmm. So this rivalry is going to be great. We then would get Otis, Maxine, and Tozawa talking backstage as the camera's on them and they're like, he's our friend. Let's just help him here for a minute. And Chad's like, finally, you guys have come around. You guys have finally come around. You guys will never guess this, but Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy, and I'm gonna call him out tonight. And we all are gonna go in there and we're gonna take this guy out. And they're like, Chad, we weren't talking about you. We were talking about Xavier Woods next week in Karrion Kross. And Xavier Woods is like, hey everybody, and I'm like, what? But they're like, we're gonna help you next week because Kofi Kingston's hurt, and he's like, well, boy, thanks guys. And that was kind of it. Chad was like, you know what, screw you guys, I'm going home, and he was like, I'll call him out myself. So, but we get more Alpha Academy next week. So
more Alpha Academy. I got to see Otis in his old it wasn't his denim jacket, but an old school jacket with Otis. Yeah. Maxine called him Otis, which I thought was solid. Of course. Maxine actually did a pretty good job. Just in a backstage segment. Tozawa was there, being Tozawa.
He showed up to work.
Very weird pairing with Woods, I guess, but I mean, it makes sense, I guess.
We'll see.
So we get that.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We would then get a Caden Carter and Katana Chance with Lyra Valkyria taking on Baszler and Stark with Sonya Deville on the outside, per the shenanigans that happened earlier after the Sonya match. And if you were watching this with the sound on, you would have thought it was the worst match of the entire night because the crowd didn't give it any hype. But Lord, they put on. They did. They put on.
Specifically one person.
Yeah, Katana Chance.
Yeah.
Out of all these people, like we have this new faction, and you would think that like they would just be pushing Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Katana Chance put on a freaking show tonight. A show. Katana Chance, I kind of just wrote that down. I put Katana Chance and Caden Carter got a lot of offense in, even knowing that we were supposed to make Baszler and Stark look strong, which they did still look strong here. But the match was very back and forth the entire time. A lot of it was a nice 1-2 with like Caden Carter and Katana Chance were all about athleticism and teamwork, high risk maneuvers off the top rope, moonsaults outside the ring. They did the keg stand from the top rope outside the ring to Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. While whenever Baszler and Stark had the offense, it was knees and technical wrestling and suplexes and stuff like that. So, but we get through the match and Sonya Deville ends up getting involved, which then gets Lyra Valkyria involved, and Zoe Stark baseball drop kicks Lyra Valkyria, so she gets hurt. They somehow get Caden Carter out of the ring. I don't remember how, but Katana Chance ends up in the ring alone. They do this. They don't have a name for their finisher.
I don't know, but it's pretty cool.
But Zoe Stark gets Katana Chance up in a powerbomb position on her shoulders and then just military presses her off behind her. And then Shayna Baszler comes with a jumping knee to the face. 1, 2, 3. Baszler and Stark get the win here. This match kicked all the ass. I'm giving it a pop.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop this as well. Former NXT, longest reigning NXT tag champs.
I didn't know that.
I
mean, I knew they had the belts, but I didn't know they were the longest.
Yeah, I didn't, I guess, know that either. Former tag champs too.
Mm-hmm.
So, they have some credibility. It was nice in the match to see like those two worked better as a team because they are so like established.
Yeah.
Whereas Baszler and Stark were kind of still feeling their way around being a tag team.
Yep.
So I thought that was a really good touch. Baszler looked good. Zoe Stark hit that drop kick she always hits. The springboard one.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know how she always hits that so well. I don't know what they're going to call that finisher or the faction, but that finisher's cool.
Which one's cooler, theirs or Bianca and Jade?
Oh, man, that's tough. I like
They don't have a name for that one either.
No, they don't. They come up with all these cool tag moves, but they don't have any names. They don't even have a faction name, so they gotta figure that out. Maybe it's gonna be something to do with
Bianca and Jade don't have a name either. They're just Bianca and Jade.
Yeah, that's like star
They're
power.
the champions.
It's like star power, though,
Yeah.
you know?
Anyway, let's move it on. Judgment Day's backstage again.
Mm-hmm.
Again.
All night.
Yeah, and it was great. And Finn is pleading his case to Rhea. He's like, hey, you're not mad at me, right?
Hey, whoa. JD was there also?
JD and Finn, but Finn's
you.
doing the talking. And he's pleading his case to Rhea. He's like, hey, hopefully you're not mad at us. Because, Liv did get us the tag title match, and we are now the tag team champions, so we kind of do owe her something there. And Rhea's like, you guys are fine. Yeah, I just want my title back. And Dom comes in, he's like, Mami, just so you know, Jay was talking shit, and I'm going to stand up for you tonight. So I went to Adam Pearce, and I scheduled a match. And she's like, why are you feuding with Jay? Like, why are you doing that? And he goes, well, I just want to prove to everybody that you still belong to me. And Rhea is like, excuse me. And she storms off. And Carlito's like, dude, that was not cool. Can't say that.
Yeah, it was cool. And I thought it was a very nice like Dom touch as well. Because Dom comes in and he's like, yeah, I'm the hero. I got this match. Yeah. And then Rhea's like, why would you do that? And he's like, well, I could go cancel it, actually.
I don't have to. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Just super good work from Dom tonight.
Oh, dude. Dom was MVP of the night. But then we get our Drew McIntyre segment. He is going to the ring to talk to Adam Pearce about his suspension that has been lifted for one night in order for him to plead as to why he deserves his suspension to be lifted. Priest is like, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre is destined to be. It's going to be special, but I need you guys to be, business about this. You can't be going crazy. And Drew is basically like, you know what? You're right. We could be more cordial this whole situation, but let's make it official. And Adam Pearce is like, okay, yeah, we'll make it official. But you got to do one thing. And he brings in the refs that Drew hit after his loss at Clash at the Castle.
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank.
Same thing. Might as well have been Clash at the Castle.
Whatever it is. He
might as well have been WrestleMania.
He was mad at people and refs, and if you were getting hit that night. So Pierce is like, you just got all you gotta do is just say you're sorry. Like, you don't have to make a scene out of it. Just say the words "I'm sorry," and we'll make the match official at SummerSlam, and that'll be that. And Drew's like, why? He's like, at this point, this is just embarrassing for me, is what he says. And he goes, no, I'm not gonna do it. He's like, all the refs have done the past few months is screw me. You, Adam Pearce, have screwed me. CM Punk has done everything I've done and more, and you don't get on his ass at all. So you owe me an apology.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, he's really not wrong. And Pearce is like, you know what? You are still suspended. And Drew turns around pissed. He shoves a ref.
Yeah, throws both the refs.
Yeah, he shoves both the refs, and he kind of looks like he's gonna give Pearce something, and then burn it down. Seth Rollins comes out for the rescue, and he just he hits Drew a couple times, goes for a stomp, but Drew rolls out of the ring, and he's all mad, and he rolls on out. But
those security guards that were there for Braun Breaker are there to take Drew, but they don't.
They don't. Drew just kind of goes. He's kind of done with the segment. But this is really entertaining stuff from Drew. I am going to give this a pop.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a pop, not because of Drew, though.
Really?
I'm going to give it because of Adam Pearce.
Yeah, Adam Pearce did great.
I really like Adam Pearce on screen, just as a whole.
Yeah.
And he's not usually in segments long enough for us to give a pop or a drop. Drew obviously makes the segment, continues the feud, but Pearce is doing a really good job, especially being like the mediator of this.
I think the managers in general have just been great lately. I mean, apart from SmackDown, because Nick Aldis, where was he? But like, they're no longer the guys that just like come out and like, you have a match tonight, or anything like that. They're like legit managers, like dealing with like the superstars, how they act has consequences. It feels good. It feels like a real sport in that way.
Yeah. And then I guess we can do a quick question on this. You looked at me and you said, well, Rollins is into this now.
Yeah.
Is that the match they're going to make at SummerSlam?
I have a feeling that we're not going to get CM Punk and Drew at SummerSlam, man. I think he might not be ready or something, because why are you throwing Seth so deep into this? Because at this point, we're 2 weeks out. CM Punk makes his return next week. I'm guessing Drew is going to break his suspension somehow. I mean, it either leads to the triple threat or we're just getting Drew and Seth.
Yeah, it would be weird though, I guess, in terms of the storyline. If you think about the through lines of like, okay, Punk, well, you need to stay home. Drew, you're suspended. Drew, you're staying home, so I can make everything work. It would be weird if Pearce, Punk comes back next week, Drew attacks him, and then Pearce is like, oh yeah, you're gonna get that match. You know what I mean?
Which makes me, now that you said that, it makes me think that triple threat's definitely happening, because yeah, I think that they're going to stay home, which means the only constant here is going to be Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
So he's going to be in the middle of all of it. And
yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before. Like,
does Seth take away from the Drew CM Punk feud? I'm at the beginning, I was totally down for it, but now I'm kind of feeling like it takes away from the feud a little bit. I'm really at this point craving CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, and throwing Seth Rollins in there just kind of feels like okay.
Yeah, I mean, Seth's always good in the ring, and he's kind of a utility guy that, like, you can put him in anything, it's going to be good. I would assume at this point you're right about the triple threat.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, okay, well, Seth's probably there to take the pin so you can get the one-on-one still, right?
Yeah, but then you'd have Seth taking losses in his first two.
Yeah, but I don't think Seth Rollins. Like, you know what I mean?
That's true.
Like, I think Punk and Drew, because if you have Punk pin Drew or Drew pin Punk, like, that kind of finishes that. Yeah. We don't get the one-on-one.
Yeah.
So you can have Rollins take the pin, whoever, I guess, does it.
Yeah.
And then maybe Rollins and Drew can kind of carry the match if Punk's still injured or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's looking more like the triple threat, which, yeah. I mean, you got to have Seth Rollins on the card.
I think you have Drew win no matter what, though, so...
I don't know. I don't care either way.
We were then informed. I didn't see this early in the day because I'm a busy human, just like the rest of us. But a VHS was delivered to the Pat McAfee show by the Wyatt Sick6 today, and we are going to watch that VHS now. And Rowan pops up, and this VHS was 100% about Rowan. Very emotional, crying most of the time. But he was talking about how he lost one brother, and he was referring to Brody Lee, is who he was referring to at the beginning. And then he said that when he finally got over that and he started to feel like all things were going well again, he then lost another brother, which was obviously Bray. And he said, at that point, I had no family. I had no nothing. And he pulls out his old mask from Wyatt days. And he said, Howdy said, how does it make you feel? Or something said, how did it make you feel? And he said, the mask gives me hope. When I was at my lowest, he pulled me up. My purpose is to help those like me, and we're going to take our broken heart and turn it to art.
Yeah. I mean, I sent you, I guess, the screenshot today, and I was like, okay, we're getting a Rowan interview.
You're right.
Which was nice because I think a few weeks ago I said that I wanted to get to know each character on a personal, individual level, and it's nice to see that with Rowan. Rowan's never really been much of a talker,
Never.
Even when he was with, the Bludgeon Brothers with Harper, Brody Lee, and then the Wyatts, and when he was with Daniel Bryan, he's always been the muscle, big guy. And so it was really nice to kind of see that side. And I don't know how many times they had to try to cut that because I'm sure he was just breaking down. Dude, that's heartfelt stuff. That's real tears. That's real emotion. You can just feel it.
And it was more emotional because what you just said. We never heard that guy talk ever. Like when he was part of the Wyatt family, he was basically a mute, and to see him talk about such real stuff, and I love how they're incorporating the stuff like that. There is the actual motive for this group is that, they're carrying on that. The whole point of it is to carry on Bray's dreams and his what he wanted, and I like how they're actually incorporating their real life motive in creating the group into what the group is standing for in the ring. So this is great. I'll go to pop.
Yeah, it's got to be a pop. The Howdy stuff continues to just be really good stuff.
More on that later. We would then get our Dom versus Jey Uso match, and Dom would not wait for Jey to yeet till he couldn't anymore. He attacked during the yeet. I mean, don't get me wrong. He got enough yeets up, okay? The yeet lights are going.
He got some yeets, yeah. Not all the yeets.
But he attacked during it, and he was dominating Jey for... Dom was dominating Jey for most of the match here. And the entire time he was yelling, "That's my mommy. Keep my mommy out of your mouth." And he was going off. But the pop, I'm going to pop all this just before we even finish it. But I'm going to set the pop now because Dom Mysterio has completed the 3 amigos. They let him do it. He hit all 3.
It might be somebody out there could fact check us. But ever since Dom's been, ever since I can remember, it's he's never hit the 3 amigos. He's never fully done it.
I've never seen it. Not in my eyes. It's like the Yeti. Or like Bigfoot.
The Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah. But he would dominate 85% of this match. He would throw, even when Jey would reverse the 619, he still capitalized, threw him off the ring post. But Jey would get a little bit of a comeback in. He would do his spit punch into his kick, and he would do a corner move and then go for the splash. And before he jumped off the top rope on his splash, Liv Morgan pulls Dom out of the ring, and Dom's like, no, what are you doing here? I'm trying to do this for mommy. Go away. And as he's talking and pleading his case to Liv, baseball slide kick from Jey Uso, and Dom ends up on top of Liv again, but she said, nah, Liv's always on top, and she flips him over, and Liv goes on top. And she's there, and Dom's kind of freaking out. He's not touching, no hands.
I think she pins his hands down.
Yeah, she pins his hands down. After a second, Rhea's music hits. Rhea comes storming out. Liv audibly says, "Oh shit!" Gets off, runs up the stairs, and Rhea comes out, and Dom's like, "You saw this. I did nothing. You've seen it." And Rhea's like, "Just get in the ring and finish the match." And he gets in the ring, but Jay's already ready. Spears him, gives him the splash. 1, 2, 3. Jey wins the match, but you could see Rhea after match was kind of looking at Dom like she was annoyed, but she something clicked. You're like, something clicked there. So we'll just roll this in with the other stuff too. So right afterward, it was a long little thing. It was a match into this, but backstage, Dom was like, I just wanted to prove to you, Rhea, that this isn't my doing. I want you to be my mommy. And she goes, and all Rhea says, she has something behind her back. And she goes, all I want you to know is that I don't belong to anyone. I'm not yours, but you're mine. And she hands Dom the black rose. And it's all a happy ending for the night, seemingly right now. This whole thing, the match, all of it, pops, dude. Couldn't be better.
Yeah, gotta pop it.
Yeah.
In terms of in the ring stuff, this was the most aggressive we've seen Dom.
It was amazing.
Probably the best that we've seen Dom in the ring. I liked that he was aggressive and really had kind of more of like a brawler mentality when he came in, fighting for the love sort of thing. Jey was good. He got his spots in. Jey gets the win and tells Rhea to call him at the end, and it progresses the storyline of the Liv Rhea Dom stuff perfectly. The stuff after, they make a grown man cry, like, oh, Rhea's come back, but what's really going to happen, obviously SummerSlam and they're setting it up and it's all looks like it's a perfect little bow. But
that begs the question, after last night, who do you think Dom should choose? Rhea or Liv?
That's tough. I'm going to say Liv.
Really?
Yeah. Because if you think about it still, like, it's really tough, but she did more for him in the few months than Rhea's done. Like, Rhea's back. It's like, well, admittedly, it's kind of like when you get your first true love leaves, and then you got a new girlfriend or a new boyfriend or whatever, and then the old one comes back. It's like, oh, but I've changed.
Yeah.
Like, I see how good you are. Like, you're a great person. Da 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 da. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
It's obviously not the like.
He's still love struck though.
It's not that disdain, like that, like upset, like he still loves her, but at the same time, like Liv's just done so much more that I feel like he's gonna choose Liv.
I mean, if you look at it in the terms you just said, you're right. I mean, Liv's got them the belts. She's helped Dom beat his deadbeat dad, who is a deadbeat. Screw you, Ray.
Technically, I mean,
she helped Damian.
They could somehow spin it tonight, like Rhea cost you that match versus Jey Uso.
Yeah.
I was coming out there to help you because every time I come out there and help you, you win.
Good point.
Rhea cost you tonight.
Yeah, she cost him. Liv saved him from a big move, and Rhea just came in there, told him to go in. He got his ass kicked. So
yeah, I think that's probably the way they do that next week, and then it's gonna be great. I will say, I don't know. Before you ask whatever you're about to ask, I don't know what to do with Jey now for SummerSlam.
I don't know. That's a conversation for a different day. I don't know. That's a wormhole.
I'm just saying, like, we got 2 weeks away, but
I got no idea. I got no idea with Jey, but in terms of Dom, do the right thing. Go choose Liv.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Like Dom will be in Liv's corner and Jey will be in Rhea's corner at SummerSlam. You laugh at that, but that might be what they do.
If Dom chooses, it'll be at SummerSlam. Dom will be in Rhea's corner.
Yeah, but like the only reason I say he would be in Liv's corner is because like somehow, I mean, Jey would obviously pick Rhea.
Yeah.
So, but that's just a way to get him on the card. Yeah. You know what I mean?
True. We then move on. Chad Gable comes out to the ring to call out Bo Dallas, and this got spicy real quick. He said, "I have solved the greatest mystery in WWE history. Master Gable has figured it out. He's cracked the case, is what he said. He said, I have figured out single-handedly that Uncle Howdy is none other than Bo Dallas."
I really hope this becomes just a thing he does. Yeah. Like next week he comes out and he's like, I found out Kane and The Undertaker aren't actually brothers. Like, I just hope that's kind of what he does. I like that.
Anyway, he calls him out, and Bo Dallas just walks on out. He walks on out. He's in his Wyatt Sick shirt, but he's just in normal clothes. And he starts to walk to the ring, and the Creed brothers have arrived with Chad Gable. They attack Bo Howdy. I like that, actually. They attack Bo Howdy. I like that. And they beat the holy hell out of him. But the entire time they're beating up Bo, he's laughing. Laughing. They do everything to him. They throw him off barricades, ring posts. They hit him with finishers. They hold him. The Creed brothers hold him up while Chad beats the holy hell out of him. And then they get him into the corner, and Chad and all of them start to leave because they've done enough damage, and he's still laughing. Chad's like, what are you laughing at? What are you laughing at? Lights go out.
Yeah, right before the lights go out, he says, "What does he say? They're here.
There you are.
Or there you are."
That's what Bo says to Chad. He goes, "Oh, there you are," because Chad's mad. And then the rest of the Wyatt Six come out, all of them dressed up in full gear, full everything, and they just kind of slowly come out to the ring with the lantern. Chad and the Creed brothers are smart humans, and they're like, "Why would we wait for this?" They just bolt. But right when Wyatt Six step into the ring, Bo drops to his knees and he does the Bray Wyatt arms out, whole world in my hand type thing. And they kind of just pose for the photos. But we've now seen the Wyatt Six in the wrestling ring. We've seen Chad Gable with the Creed brothers. Looks like we're cooking up a Wyatt Six versus Chad and Creed brothers match coming up soon. Whew. This is good stuff, man. This is good stuff.
Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking about it. And I feel like you got to pop it. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I guess I'm just thinking they're outnumbered. Well, this is just me. Not even anything that happened tonight. But Creed brothers and Gable, you got 3.
Yeah.
Wyatt Six, you have 4 plus a female.
Yeah.
So my first thought is some way, somehow, maybe
Maxine and Otis.
Yeah. Maybe Maxine and Otis come back, and then maybe that's how you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Set that up.
Maybe next week you have them actually attack Chad and like batter him, and then finally there's the sympathy because they Chad and Maxine or Otis and Maxine have at least expressed the idea that they would help Chad if things got bad enough. So maybe you can have him get absolutely battered, and Otis and Maxine can help.
Yeah, and then that'll branch off into its own thing. But as for tonight, I didn't want to jump the gun too much. Great stuff. I mean, Bo was fantastic. I looked at you and I was like, it'd be really cool if Bo just came out in his normal clothes, just no music. That's exactly what he did.
You called that, and then I was like, it'd be really cool if while he's getting his ass kicked, he just starts laughing.
Yeah.
No, it's like we just booked it. I was like, dang.
Yeah. It felt good. It felt pretty cool. It's like that's exactly what we wanted to see. In terms of just the whole Wyatt Six stuff, you had mentioned before, like, do they wrestle in their gear, like in their masks and stuff? I think this week, having the Rowan interview without the mask and everything, and then Bo coming out and just his normal stuff, I think that kind of answers that.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to wrestle normally now, which is the smart way to go about it.
100%.
As for the Creed brothers, this is what we wanted to see. It was nice to see them in suits. They adapted the Chad Gable wardrobe.
Yep.
And they hit a cool, like, I have him here jumping knee slam thing.
These tag team finishers, man, they're getting good.
They're creative.
I'm looking forward to what's next though with Wyatt Six. So this is good stuff. Then when we get our main event, we get Ilia Dragunov versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship, which means we didn't get a Sami promo tonight.
I mean, we kind of got one with the backstage.
Nope, I'm taking it.
We kind of got one with the backstage.
Nope, I'm taking it.
No, I'm not
taking it.
It's still a thing. Because he did say champion.
Beginning of this match, Sami was kind of treating it like, what do you got? What do you got, Ilia? What do you got, Ilia? And they work stiff, obviously. Sami would do his sitting moonsault to the outside of the ring. It was like where he drops down with his legs, hits a moonsault out of the ring to Ilia, which is always cool to see. Ilia would hit the Constantine special, but he would go for it again, but Sami would reverse it into a blue thunder bomb after he tried to do it once, but he didn't get it. But Sami would Hulk up. He would go for the Helluva kick, but a high boot from Ilia. Ilia would go for the H-bomb, but Sami would do a boot. And then all the stuff would happen. So Ilia would hit an H-bomb to Sami from the apron to the outside of the ring. That's pretty cool when he does that. I like that. That's good stuff. Then he would do a coast to coast. And then he would go for a top rope senton, but Sami would put his knees up. Sami would he put his knees up and Ilia would roll to the apron. And they'd both rise, but Ilia was on the apron, still like, ooh. Sami would come and Helluva kick him while he was still on the apron, falling to the outside of the ring. Sami would then get outside the ring and try to pick him up because Sami is a champion and he's face. He doesn't want to win by the count out. And we would see Mr. Braun Breaker start to walk in, and he would slowly walk in. No, he wouldn't. Turn on the heat. And he would just sprint. And he would go on the outside, and he would spear Ilia. Match over. Disqualification.
Which looked rough.
Yeah, looks rough. He hit Ilia hard and low, kind of.
It was like in the legs almost.
Yeah. It's almost like he kind of tripped on the very end there. But he hit it. So he would spear Ilia. That was it. That was it for Ilia's night. But Sami would start to fight back. Sami would fight back. He'd smash his head off the announce table. Throw him in the ring. He would roll in. Sami would go for the haluva kick, but Braun would pick him up and give him this huge German suplex, like huge. And then Sami would get up. Braun would do his run the ropes at, what's Michael Cole say? 23 miles an hour.
I don't think he said it this week.
No, he didn't. Back-to-back weeks, he didn't say it.
Come on, Michael.
Come on, Michael. Be better. If this freaking Sasha Banks, he'd be saying boss time. You know that for sure. But he went 23 miles an hour off the ropes, and he would hit a spear. The Raw ends with Braun Breaker posing. Just ends up in the ring. This was nice. Yeah, I don't have too much praise to give all this. It's still kind of the same-ish thing, but it's told through. We got a good full match from Sami Zayn and Ilya Dragunov, who put on a show. So I'll give it a pop.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a pop as well. I will say if they do another week of the Braun Breaker stuff, I'll be like, okay,
too much.
Come on.
Yeah.
But I guess it was nice because he got Dragunov again, and now we're gonna get a triple threat at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Which I guess now I'm thinking about it. I don't know if you can have two. Well, I mean, you can have two triple threats, but it seems a little weird, right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
They don't typically do that. But anyway, the Sami Zayn Dragunov match, good match. You can put them both with anybody. Dragunov is one of the young stars.
Nope.
Breaker, I would like to see a little bit something else.
So if this is a triple threat match, if it's Braun Breaker, Ilya Dragunov, and Sami Zayn, who walks out winner?
Well, how they've been booking him, I guess it would be Braun.
It would be Braun.
And then
Braun pins Ilya.
I would say Braun pins Sami, and then you could branch off of that and still have the Braun Dragunov like feud.
Well, Sami's gonna get a rematch.
Yeah, and he'll beat him again. It's fine. Well, they sometimes do the rematch. They sometimes don't do the rematch. You know
Sami
what I mean?
has the most powerful move in all of sports entertainment, the haluva kick. You pointed out today, Sami should have been the one to break the Undertaker's streak with the haluva kick, right? So
it's the fantasy match of the week. Spoiler. That's
yeah,
Sami versus Streak Taker.
I'm taking Braun Breaker in the triple threat match. So I think
Braun Breaker, and it just makes sense because then Sami can go off and do some other stuff.
Yeah.
But then the Dragunov Breaker stuff, you can revisit the NXT days like they have, and they've already had some one-on-one matches, and they've been great.
Yeah.
So now let's put them in there and have them fight for something.
I agree. Well, this was a phenomenal episode of Raw from top to bottom. Quick 3 hours. Raw's cooking with storytelling right now in every way, and the in-ring stuff just backs it up. They're cooking.
Yeah,
they're absolutely
they're hitting
cooking.
all the right buttons at the right time.
Yeah, they really are. SummerSlam from the Raw point of view is looking like a hell of a show. So cannot wait for that. But follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. Listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, at Spotify, Apple, etc., and share us with whoever you think might like this kind of wrestling content. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.